Hello. How is everybody? Can you hear me? Anyways, we're here with the Christmas tree in my house all set to go. Hi everybody, it's Brad Szollose coming to you live here on our final day. Let me remove this. I've always heard that this goes better when I take this headset off. How's that? Hello everybody. It's Saturday here on Phil Jones. Exactly what to read. I'm Brad Szollose, and welcome to my home. We're going to be talking a little bit today about how to move people around in your organization so that when you hire people, you're not stuck with a mess sometimes. How many of you have hired somebody and then they turn out that they aren't so good at their job? You find out very quickly that they're incompetent, or maybe they have a better skill set than what you interviewed them for, things like that. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. Give me some high fives, make some comments in the comments section so that I know you're on here, and we're having a little bit of fun. Welcome to my home. We're walking around here. I'm going to go into the kitchen, see what's going on. My studio, I'm trying to avoid it today because we're almost ready for Christmas and I don't want to be stuck doing any work during the holidays. I'm going to try not to anyways. So anyways, welcome back. And you can see plants behind me, life, everything. And exactly what to read. Here we are. How is everybody today? It's been a crazy week, hasn't it? We've gotten a lot done. Sorry I'm late today. I wanted to do these each day at noon, but I figured we might be out Christmas shopping, or you're spending some time with your family. There's over 2,900 holidays right now. Or, no, I'm sorry, 29 holidays that happen between November and the end of the year. So we can't all be sitting here going, we're the only ones having a holiday right now. Even though I say Merry Christmas, I say Happy Hanukkah to people. Kwanzaa, there's everybody's having something going on at the end of the year. Happy Saturnalia, and I hope you're doing well. Phil, I hope that you're relaxing a little bit. I know you've had some of your last travel for the year, and you're hanging out, getting some work done. Anyways, today we're going to dig in. I know some of you have been coming on. I wanted to say thank you to Claire for really working incredibly hard to put this group together and maintain it and manage it and talk to us authors, and when we're in different time zones and all over the place and things like that. So thank you, Claire. And everybody who went before me, Jill, Tony, Ian, thank you. And I want to thank our group. We've had a nice little dedicated group that's been coming in between Kyle. Allison just joined us. Who else joined us yesterday? We had Kyle was there, Joy, Melissa, Sylvina, I believe. And we had a lot of good interaction. Melanie, thank you. And I've made friends with some of you as well, so I'm excited by that. We're gonna wrap up a little bit today, earlier than we usually do. So let's talk real quick about how to move people around according to their skill set. Many of you hire some really dynamic people, and then after about a month or two, or even 3, you start to realize this was not a great hire. Or maybe they're really good at one thing but bad at another. And I'll give you a good example of this. I had someone who called me up to consult and help with their business, expanding their business, and here on Long Island. And they called me up and they said, hey, I have a young millennial who seems to have problem with facial cues and things like that. They present in a meeting, and then they don't know when to sit down. So for half an hour, they're talking about coding and language and how to do Perl script and a dashboard, and the client is bored out of their mind. They just want to know that you can get the job done. So what happens is this person doesn't quite know, we can't take him in on pitches or do certain things. What do I do with him? I said, take him out to lunch and find out what he really is passionate about. Well, my friend has a small firm, and he sat there and he sat with this young man, and he can't really get rid of him because he's so good at programming languages. He can build a dashboard for a website on his own in a day. He just knows what he's doing. He says, but I got to utilize him at a bigger level because he can't just sit in the back and program all day. And what he found out is this young man loves to write. So he says, how about on the next pitch, you help us write our proposal? Well, it turns out the guy was so good at these pitches and writing these proposals that they started landing bigger accounts, like $2 million, $3 million, $4 million accounts to build websites and maintain them for the year. So he realized he could use this person in a better capacity by putting them into this other part of what they do. And so he moved that person according to their strongest skill set. And you'll find this in books like Strength Finder and things like that, where you really should just be doing the kind of work that solves a great problem immediately and utilize the very best and the most talented people on this. So I would take some time out to get to know some of the people you work with. Get to know them, because your job as a leader in the 21st century, I feel, is to spot talent that the person doesn't know they have, that they're using every single day. They're very strong with this. Like if you sat down with me for the very first time, after a couple of interactions, you'd realize that I'm a strong communicator. I'm very animated. I'm on camera, and there's a reason why I'm pretty good at being on camera. When I'm on stage doing a keynote, I'm doing certain things. So you might utilize me as a person, if I had a full-time job with you, as the person who taught everybody how to communicate, how to pitch better, to get the sales team to communicate at a much higher level. And also, I could be utilized as somebody who mediates problems from one group to the next. So in any organization, I would be a communication asset, an expert in that level, and probably I'd be pretty darn good at pitching new business, which I am very good at. I know that about me. But most people, especially employees that are right under the management scope, they usually don't know that they're really good at certain things. You have to help them with that. And you have to help them see in themselves something that they're very good at doing. I had someone else, Michael also, I recommended to him. He had a young woman, and I mentioned this a couple of days ago. Michael had a young woman who went to college for accounting, and she was really good at graphic design, not accounting. But her degree wasn't in graphic design. And he started to realize she was a better writer, and she was better at reaching clients. So guess what they did? They turned around and they moved her into the newsletter department, and she started helping to come up with strategies for the sales department and pitching ideas and things like this, because she was just a horrible accountant. So take a look at some of your employees and see if they fit in the right place. And don't rely 100% on that resume, because resumes, people are focused on what they really want to do sometimes, and that may not be what they're really good at doing. So let's see who's in there today. I'm going to take a look at our lineup. It looks like we have some good interaction. Who do we have on here today? We got one person in here. Who's that? And it looks like, hi, Phil. Good to see you again. What's it been, 3 weeks? So are you in England or are you in New York? Let me know. Thank you, by the way. This has been a lot of fun. How many of you, I'll get back to what we're talking about, how many of you may have a problem employee and that person is not really a problem? What you're dealing with is somebody who's probably in the wrong place in the organization. They need to be moved around. Now think about this. In the past, we used to hire, then fire people, then hire again, then fire again to get the staff we wanted. Most companies did that. That's how they built and got obedient workers. But today, it's better if you start moving people around according to their skill set. Because if you can move people around according to skill set, now, don't get me wrong, You may have to fire a few people. There may be people who are not a good fit for the organization. And I can tell you this, if you're a millennial and you're managing people, firing an individual may be the hardest thing you'll ever have to do, because that's just not something you've been trained to do. You're more into the team building structure. So letting a person go may be a skill you're going to have to work on, and it hurts. It's rough, because you don't want to be in those shoes either, on the receiving end of being fired. But sometimes firing a person strategically gets the group to realize and stand up and say, wow, maybe we should up our game. Or something that's happened to me, I've actually had people come up to me after I fired somebody and they said, it's about time somebody fired that person, because they were really destroying our productivity, our morale, and our ability to get things done. But here's a caveat. You cannot look at people and their personalities and make your decisions based on your own personal bias. Maybe it's not a caveat, maybe it's just a warning that maybe you need to look at a person differently. And I'll give you a good example of that. We were putting a team together to work on a particular job. And this was a website they were about to build. It was a big build out. And somebody came to me and they go, here's our team, but this one guy, we'd like to find somebody else. He doesn't get along with people. And I said, well, let me ask you a question. Who does what he does better than he does? And they said, we don't know anybody. I said, then you need to figure out how to work with this person, because I don't care about your personality clash or your personalities. We need to find a way to get the work done. And sometimes a little bit of that dynamic tension is what makes someone be more creative. And I know some of you are sitting there going, what? That makes no sense. Look, a work environment's not supposed to be harmonious unless you're working in accounting or science or something like that. Your work environment should have a dynamic tension to it that's competitive and fun and relaxing and has some cool elements to it. It pushes you to another limit. It makes you more creative, and you want to work with this person because they're so incredible to work with. There should be a lot of these things in place that are happening that create the kind of work environment where people want to come to work. And if you've ever read any of my books or my blogs or picked up a copy of Liquid Leadership, you'll see in there that I have 3 things in the very beginning. I mean, I have 7 altogether, principles and rules that I think work for a 21st century organization. But the first 3 I live by. And the number one is you have to create an environment where everybody can tell the truth. Okay? That's hard to do. Even if it insults the boss, that you have to be able to tell the truth in these environments. The second thing is you have to create and support creativity. That's a big deal to me. And the number one thing, I'm working backwards here, but the number one thing is that people have to come first. The people in your organization have to come first. As Richard Branson said, Sir Richard Branson of Virgin Atlantic, he actually said, train people well enough so that they can leave, but treat them well enough that they don't want to leave. Sorry, I screwed that up. I paraphrased it. But you get what I mean? There's an old saying, the CFO goes to the CEO and he says, hey, why are we spending all this money on training people and they're just going to leave us? And the CEO looks her dead in the eyes and says, well, what if we don't train them and they stay? And that's kind of what you want to look at your organization in that same way. If somebody doesn't know how to do something, train them, teach them, show them. If they don't get it right away, find out what their skill set is and move them to where they are utilizing and using their skills at 100%. It's pretty good stuff. All right, some of you are out Christmas shopping. I know I was out Christmas shopping last night with my wife. She got a little makeover, which I thought was fun. I need a big makeover, need a haircut, and probably need to shave. I know some of you don't like my Shaggy from Scooby-Doo look. But not bad for a guy who's going to be 60 years old in 5 years, huh? Yeah. Oh, I got pain in my back. Anyways, I'm I'm going to keep it short today. I see there's no interaction on here except Phil, and that's okay. I want you to go back and rewatch some of these. I'll do a quick recap on everything that we did. We had some fun this week. I may redo the first broadcast because I think it's incredibly important to know why millennials act the way they do. But I am going to say this. Day one was really about understanding millennials, boomers, and Generation X. And the soon-to-come-up Generation Z, or like I like to call them, the cloud kids, or the cloud generation, because they save everything into the cloud. Let me see. I'm going to open this up. That was day one, and we had a lot of fun with that, and I showed you some of the toys that I use in my presentations and things like that. The other thing is, on day two, I taught you a little bit about how to hire better, exactly how to hire, and what some of those techniques are. And it was the ultimate guide, really, to finding the right people. You have to look past that resume, go to another level. Day three was why training needs to change and how to change it. And that was really about understanding that you have a new generation, from Generation X on to millennials to even the latest generation. They've been trained with technology and have been exposed to 10 learning styles, 10 different learning styles, including kinesthetic models, apprenticeship models, interactive models, learn by doing models, all kinds of things that show them a very different way of learning and being able to engage. And they're used to that. And if you don't have a millennial on your training crew, you should try and get them, because they are going to take it to another level. It's all in my TED Talk, by the way. And on Thursday, we did a primer for team-driven management, which I love. We didn't touch on gamification, but that's a whole new frontier, that one. And then we have, yesterday we did creativity. And everything you've ever bought or done or tried to get involved in, it was the most creative that you've ever seen. So I hope that helps. I hope I've had some impact with you today, and I really feel honored that we were able to do some of this. I've made a few friends on this journey, and it's been an honor. It's been a lot of fun. So anyways, if I don't get a chance to see you, please reach out. Friend me if you want. Send me a private message, and have a great holiday season. 2018 is going to kick some butt, and I look forward to seeing what you're going to create in the next 12 months. It's going to be an amazing, amazing year coming up, and I look forward to seeing a lot of your gains. Until then, my friends, I just want to say happy holidays. Enjoy yourself. Go forth. Take a break for the next couple of days if you need to, and spend some time with your friends and family. And once again, Brad Szollose, peace out, and see you next year. Bye-bye. Thanks, everybody.